Round two, I kept telling Karen was very instructive. This is the game you're going to like the most. This is like I'm a grandmaster and my opponent's not a grandmaster. Yeah, this is what it's like when God has a gun. So I'm playing Doric Emir, who for over a year was my student, and they're from Turkey and they live in Atlanta. Occasionally they go back to Turkey. Still plays for Turkish Federation. He's a twin. He has a twin sister. He's 10 years old, USCF 2110, and he's a genius. I mean, tactically, he's probably better than me. And he's won nationals. He goes to the 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade nationals, and he's winning the Blitz tournament, and he's coming in second. He's good. All the kids know who he is, Doric Emir, Emir. And I taught him. I don't teach anymore because I'm streaming, but I did teach him. And he has the nicest family. The nicest. Nobody's family's nicer, I don't think, in the world. Except maybe the Shetty family, damn. Doric Emir's his name. He's going to be a grandmaster. You heard it here first. Very strong, nice kid. Twin sister also plays. The parents know how to play. They don't play in tournaments. Very, very nice people. And what's funny is I don't really play at the chess center here, and he plays here a lot, so I've never played him a rated game. This is our first rated game. Yeah. Okay. So I'm black. Now, I must say, he is 10, so his positional and strategical understanding isn't as good as mine, because I'm 50 and I've played like 800 GM slow games, and he's played Zapata maybe, because Zapata lives in Atlanta. Probably Zapata is the only GM he's played a rated game against, probably. So he doesn't have a lot of, stuff. Yeah. All right. He doesn't have a lot. Yeah. Now Doric usually plays E4, but he plays B3 occasionally. He played it against me. Okay. I've had white in this position more than black. I've played G3 here. And it's sort of a boring game, which I like. He's very good at tactics, and I like really boring. So I made the game as boring as I could. And the engine says white's a little bit better, which you would suspect. Now, here I was thinking of my game with Komsky. In the state of Georgia, I've lost one slow game in 4 years of playing, and it was against Komsky. I was black in the last round. And he played the London against me, so his bishop was here, and he was white. But Doric played the way I played with black, Finegold both bishops. And I remember, and when you Finegold, you don't play bishop to d3 when you're white against this, because that's useless and you get forked a lot. So you either go here or here. And I remember Komsky played this against me after I played d6 as black. He was white. And also his bishop, he moved his bishop like all around. It was funny. Man, did I get crushed. I got really crushed by Komsky. Positionally, strategically, tactically, on the clock. I don't know which was the worst. Probably the clock was the worst. I think he had an hour and I had a minute when I was lost. Thanks for the sub. Okay, so the point is, if he's going to play d4, he'll play d3 first. That's fine. He'll lose the tempo and give me the e4 square. Emotionally, yeah, he got me good. Yeah. Okay, so I played bishop c5, and I castled. This is similar to my game with Komsky, except colors reversed, and I have the other side. I have the Komsky side. And I'd already played this move, which he never played, unless he played it later. So he played rook e1, which doesn't make any sense, because there's no reason. And by the way, I see this a lot with some lower-rated players, is they under-prepare or over-prepare. They sack all their pieces when they're not ready to, or they want to make some normal-looking move, and they prepare it and prepare. Man, I just broke this chair. It's funny, this arm never moves, and this arm always moves. Probably needs a screwdriver, but I think I broke it more. I'm sure with the right tool, this would be fixed in 1 minute. But, I mean, I don't notice because I'm not, so stupid chair. If the chair collapses while I'm sitting in, that might get more viewers, so I don't know. So maybe I should do that. Okay, anyway, rook e1 doesn't make sense. If he wants to play e4, play e4. You don't want to undefend this. So rook e1's a bad move. 243 centidues. Yeah. Yeah, that's, I don't know why he's undefending his F pawn. Okay. Doesn't lose, but it's just a silly move. Okay, I played A5. Got to gain some space. He doesn't want me to do this. So he plays A3. That way, if I play A4, he can play B4. All right, fine. I played this. It doesn't really threaten that, but it threatens to threaten that. You know, with this pin. Like if I played it right now, he would play D4 and my queen's hanging. But I want to put my rooks in the middle, maybe push my pawns. You know, don't want my queen on E7, which I usually do, because his rook's on E1, so I didn't want that. Okay, and he played D4, which is okay. He could play E3, he could play C4. He played D4, and normally I would go back to one of these squares, but I had an epiphany. What's funny is there's 4 squares for the bishop. The default settings on chess.com is the best 3 moves. My move's not listed. That's why I'm a grandmaster. This engine slightly prefers bishop E7. Bishop D6 is second, a very close second. And this is third. I played bishop A7. Now the engine says white's better if he plays E4. Well, obviously, he's got to play E4, C4 at some point. I wanted my bishop here because if I play C5 or E5, that's where I want my bishop. I want to punish rook E1. The engine says after E4, he's slightly better. I don't agree. I think it's equal. But obviously, if you're playing rook E1, you want to play E4. Otherwise, why'd you play rook E1? All right. Now, I remember during the game, at this point, I was walking around. I'm looking at Archer and Karen's games a lot. I came back, and I was like, what? He played a move I would never, ever think of, ever. Now, I have a funny story about that. Not only is this a funny story, and you guys are making fun of me in the chat right now, but I'm not looking, but you are, because I'm telling a story. The person in this story is Yasser, so that's why it's funny. This is like meta commentary here. I'm going to say 6 years ago, I'm close, I played Mario Roper, who's one of the lower-rated players in St. Louis. I think he's an employee now. And I've known Mario for 10 years, since I moved to St. Louis. He was about 800 when I moved there. He's probably 1,200 now. And I played him a few rated games, either extra rated or even in a tournament. I played him in a tournament. I don't know how. Anyway, he made a move I couldn't believe. I mean, I've played Mario a lot, and I've watched Mario a lot. So I can believe anything. But this I could not believe. And so later I saw Yasser, of course. I said, Yasser, come here. I said, you can guess every legal move, and you won't guess what he played. I was very confident. And he's like, okay. So he's suggesting like the worst moves he can find. Right? And I was like, no. And he goes, okay, I give up. He suggested like 5 moves. And I picked up a pawn, and I'm moving it, and he's thinking like, he was telling me in his mind, Yasser's like, that's a perfectly logical move. And then, and I think it was B4. And it went, and he thought I was playing B3, and I played B4, and he was like, oh my God, I never would have thought of that. I like the way Yasser agreed he wouldn't find that as a legal move. Because that's what I thought. It's a move that doesn't exist in my head. The move that Mario played. The other legal move with the pawn was like normal. So he made a move that trapped his bishop forever. He trapped his own bishop forever. Like it's still trapped. Like when he plays other chess games, that bishop's trapped. Then later in the game, that was a bishop on A2. Later in the game, he played bishop H6 and G5 and trapped his bishop on H6. That was very funny. It wasn't as stupid, but it was like close. But that was funny. But Yasser's like, wow, I never, yeah. Anyway, I thought it was funny that I predicted Yasser wouldn't find this move, and he's like, I can't believe that's legal. Now, this move is nowhere near as bad as the Mario move, but I was in shock because Doric's really good. Doric's 2100. Mario's not. And this is a move I would never, ever, ever think of. Ever. Never. So let me explain what I mean. If you blunder your queen, you probably didn't see your queen was hanging. Otherwise, you wouldn't have blundered your queen. That's perfectly reasonable. That's why Botez is at 2100. She plays perfectly reasonable. Occasionally, she blunders her queen. That happens. She doesn't want to blunder her queen. That's an accident. Okay, I hung mate and won. I lost on time. I don't want to, but yeah. But when you make these moves that don't lose material but are nonsensical, that nobody would think of, then you're like, whoa. Okay, that's something that needs to be fixed in your chess. When you make a move and your coach is like, what? Not that you hung a queen or hung mate and won. That's fine. You just didn't see that you hung your queen. This is like, yeah, here's the reasonable looking move. It's not unreasonable because it loses material. It's unreasonable because it's unreasonable. Like, you shouldn't be thinking of those moves. That's what my opponent did here. Okay? And not on the level of Mario, but for 2100, this is not a good move. He played b4. And when I came back to the board, and I was like, why is there a pawn on b4? What happened? The pawn should go back to b3. Now, obviously, in his mind, we didn't talk after the game. In his mind, I'm guessing he didn't want me to play c5 because I played bishop a7, so I'll probably want to play c5 and open up that diagonal. Okay. Yeah, b4 is not good. Okay. I played rook a d8 after long thought, which engine doesn't like. I like the way the engine says white's better. That just shows you how good I am. Opponent makes a nonsensical move. Now the idea is, I'm like, play e4 or c4. I dare you. I double dare you. And the engine's like, all right, c4. And then equal. e4, black's better. Now, of course, I could just prevent c4 with b5, and then I could, get some action in here. After b5, black's better. Okay, but I played b5 later. I scared my opponent sufficiently to not play c4, e4, and he played knight b3, which also shocked me. And I was like, well, I thought about playing a4. I guess I'll play a4 now. And then he surprised me again. He went to c1, which is not a good move. Yeah. Okay, and I get e4. Thank you. And he's like, kick you out. And I'm like, nope. So this is funny because b4's bad, knight b3's bad, knight c1's bad, knight d2's bad, but they're not bad tactically. He's strategically getting outplayed. I'm moving forward and he's doing this. And my moving forward is not creating weaknesses. Sometimes when you move forward, then you collapse. I'm moving forward in a very steady way. You'll also notice we haven't traded anything yet. No trading. You can still donate, but yeah. Bonarisi knows what's up. Yeah. Okay. Knight d3. Now every move, I'm like, I can sack here, and I can sack here, and I can go knight takes, and I e5, and the queen takes, and bishop b8, and then I'm like, and I play a boring move. That's what I do. The engine plays knight b6, which I almost played. I played b5. Yeah. Thanks for the sub. Yeah. Now, problem with white's position is white can't do anything. So, if you have a chess coach and the coach is like, what's your plan? Right? And then you're like, well, I don't know. Right. There's no plan. Black can advance with e5 or g5 or f4 or sack on g3 or play rook f6 to g6 or play bishop b8 and sack on f2 or g3 or play knight b6 to c4, and white does nothing. Okay. So even though material is equal, this engine says I'm 0.8 ahead. Okay, so he played knight f4, double attack, and I stopped it. And I like the knight here because I was ready to attack it with everything. Notice if I play e5, he can't take it because then I unleashed the latent potential of the bishop on a7. All right. And you know the rest of the joke. Okay, he played knight f3. All right. Does anyone in the chat in less than 10 seconds, give yourself 10 seconds, and I want you to be absolutely sure. You're like, oh, I know. I got it up here. You got 10 seconds. Which one of these is the queen knight and which one's the king knight? Yeah, no idea is correct. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, nobody would ever know. Yeah. Well, one guy said this is the queen, and the next guy said it's the king. Well, I don't know. I played the game and I don't know. Yeah. Okay, he played, let's see, he played here, 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 here. And with his other knight, I think, just went here, here, and here. So that means this is the queen knight. Right, D2, B. Yeah, and I think this knight just did this. That's not even a lot. Yeah. Okay. But we're not done. We're nowhere near done. Okay, he played knight f3. That was his last move. And I thought about playing e5, but after knight here, I wasn't sure what to do. The engine plays e5, knight here, f4. And then after g4, sacks on f2 and plays e4, which I actually saw some of those ideas. Like e5, knight moves, sack, and e4. Okay. Anyway, I played here because I'm coming in there. And he played knight e5. So he's played 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he played b3, b4, d3, d4. He played b3, b4, d3, d4. His rook went here for reasons we don't understand. His bishop is trapped, and his rook is trapped. Now, we haven't traded and it's moved 20. Right? You agree. Okay? I played the best move here. Shocking for me. What's the evaluation of this position on this engine? Guess what black's advantage is here in this position. Black's advantage is 2.54. So some of you were close. Yeah. So we haven't traded anything, but I'm up 2.54. And I played the best move. Knight c4. And now, and truth hurts. Damn. Okay. Some of you were saying that knight on e5 is good. Not anymore. All right, so he took. And story time. 1986, Oakham, England. I have the plate. I've shown you the plate. It's where I met Anand. I was watching the game. Anand was white against Michael Adams. 1986. So Anand was 2405 feet, I remember. I don't remember what Adams' rating was. I think it was like 2350. And they were, I guess Adams was 14 and Anand was 16. Is that right? Is Adams younger than me? I think so. I'm the same age as Anand. Anyway, Anand was 16. I guarantee that. I think Adams was 14. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It might be on the internet, but it might not be, that game. It might not be there. It's Anand Adams, 1986 Oakham, if you can find it. Anyway, here's the point of the story. Anand was white, and he was, he won. He got a lot of space. And at some point, he played knight e5, which you could do with white and a Carol Khan, and Adams took it. Knight takes e5. And Anand could play queen takes e5, d takes e5, or f takes e5, and they all looks really good to me. Oh, the game's on the internet. Good. Yeah, move 26. Bishop takes e5. Yeah. And Mr. Popezilla. Anyway, and I said to Patrick Wolf, we were watching the game, and I said to him, which way would you take? And he said, man, I wish I had such a pleasant choice. And the reason I'm telling you this story is it applies to this position. Which way should you take? And the answer is, it's a pleasant choice. Now, for a grandmaster, it's obvious which way to take. You guys, not so obvious. See, if you stand on ceremony, you probably play the wrong move. Okay. Now, when I played rook d8 and bishop a7, I wanted the d5. You know what I wanted. Now, if I'm just like take towards the center, then I do that. But then why is my rook on d8? Why is my a pawn here? Yeah. So I played DC. The engine says 2.1 and then BC is 1.1. Okay. And he took on e4, which shocked me because it's such a bad position for him. But the engine takes on e4 also. I mean, e5 is a threat. Probably knight f2 is a threat. E5 is a pretty big threat. Okay. Yeah, now his king never has any defense. When I attack his king, he's played g3, h3, and there's no pieces there. Okay, so now I'm seriously threatening e5. That's a serious threat. g5 also ain't bad. Not bad, but it's e5. Okay, he played another mistake. He played queen b1. Queen c1 is the engine move. Then it says I'm up 2.2. Play queen b1. It's a very bad move. Very bad. He played it pretty quickly, so I think he gave up. I think he's just like, all right, this game's over. I'll just play fast and resign. Okay. This was, God only knows what it was. It transposed into some kind of ready. But it started with b3 on move 1. Okay, now I played the best move. There was a guy in Michigan who I suspect is on my stream a lot. He lives in Wyoming now, unless he doesn't. I think he lives in Wyoming. Maybe he doesn't, but he used to if he doesn't now. His name's Jim Kolbaki. He's always between 1900 and 2100, probably for the last 40 years. So that's his strength. Somewhere in there. And I know exactly what he would say in this position. He would say, I'm going to open you up like a can opener. But he would say it in a funny way, much funnier than I did. So what move did I play? By the way, it helps that he played queen b1 and queen c1. That's a little hint. I gave you a hint. I gave you a hint. Little hint. Queen b1 instead of queen c1. Hint. Nobody's getting the hint. The engine says black's +5 after this move. E3. There we go. Guys got their engines working. Yeah, I played E3. The engine likes that move. Yeah. The point is, if he takes it and I play G5 or E5, it's gonna be bad. Yeah. The engine does take it and says I'm plus 5.29. He played Rook F1, which is the second best engine move. It says I'm +7 now. E5 and G5 are both quite good. And I play queen d6. Yep. So I'm up a pawn. This pawn's hanging. And bishop b8, queen h2 should not be overlooked. However, he has very good defense of his king. C3, defending his pawn. Bishop b8. I got 2 diagonals, 1 for each of you. Now here, I made my only mistake of the game. I made a +7 move instead of +15. And I saw the +15 way, and I didn't want him to check me. So the engine way is this. And I said, oh, if I go there, he takes this with check. Now, of course, after here, he can't move. I'm threatening. Every move is a threat. Bishop g3, bishop f3, rook f3, rook e8. And right now the engine says I'm +34. I saw this, but I was like, I don't want him to check me. So I didn't do that. So instead of playing queen h2, I played bishop h5 first. He can't take this now. And queen h2 is still happening. It can't be stopped. So, yeah. Okay, and he played the best way. He traded. And now, instead of playing the only move, queen e5, because I'm threatening May, he resigned. After here, I was going to take, and then, this move wins, and this move wins, and this move wins. It doesn't matter. Yeah. This engine says this is +8. Rook d8 with the idea of rook d2 is +7. Bishop takes is +6.2. He's down material, and he's got 2 hanging pawns, plus his bishop can't move. Not the 2 bishops. So instead of queen e5, he resigned. Yeah. So that was like a real dominating game strategically, and then his position just fell apart. But it was weird that he played rook e1 and then didn't play e4 ever. And also he didn't move his rook off of a1. And when he encountered his bishop on move 2, you probably didn't think he would play d4 and c3. Now did you?